Hey, Triple S members, Kevin Chow here. How you doing out there? Hey, I want to welcome you back to the Chow line. It's been about 3 years since we've had the last launch Chow line, and our objective for this today is to provide some fireside chats with some Triple S board members, suppliers, and industry experts, and hopefully to share some information that will be valuable to you and your businesses. Now hopefully you can maybe grab one or two nuggets out of some of these conversations that will actually help you impact into your business and maybe make some small incremental changes that will lead to bigger changes in the future. As a Triple S member, one of your biggest benefits, of course, is being a member of Triple S is our group is the camaraderie, the networking, the teaming up of others to help each other learn and understand some of the best practices that may be valuable to you um, in their business practices today. So hopefully you'll get something out of it. But today I've got a special guest. I'm really excited to share with you this professional who's made an impact with not only Triple S, but in our industry. He's taken over the family business about 7 years ago and continues to learn through all his seeking of different training opportunities and inside and outside of the industry. Uh, Adam is currently on the board of Triple S board of directors and has been a positive impact to Triple S across the nation, not only to his business himself, but also to many of the other members out there. He's built an amazing culture in his organization, and he's got one of the most organized warehouses in the industry. And so I'm really glad to welcome Adam Uselman from Bruco out of Billings, Montana. But you can tell we're actually up here in his cabin outside of Bozeman at what, 8,000 elevation feet there, Adam?
Yep, pretty much.
Well, welcome to the Chow Line, Adam.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm glad
Well,
to be here.
so we're excited to talk about this because, matter of fact, Adam, I think we talked about you just actually taking over the business about 7 years ago. And that was actually right before you had started the executive development program prior to this. And so tell me how the succession plan for your business worked with your uncle.
Well, yeah, my uncle Ben started the company in 1978, so he had ran it for, you know, basically 40 years. And the planning process or the succession plans probably started, I would say, even as far back as 8 to 10 years before I bought the company. Just minor conversations at that point, but seeds were being planted. Um, and then it really got more serious probably 3 to 4 years prior. We just worked through different stuff. We weren't in a rush. He knew kind of how he wanted things to roll out, and I knew what I wanted, and we were able to make that all work together pretty harmoniously. Um, but the timing could not have been better as far as, me buying the company months before I got a phone call from you about joining the executive development program with that first cohort. So, because the impact that had on me as a business owner, as a leader, it's, I mean, it can't really put words to it as to how it impacted our business in a positive way. So,
Well, that's great to hear. Matter of fact, I'd like to get into that a little bit further in just a moment, but I'd like to go back to the succession plan because you said it started early, but yet still even 3 to 4 years out, you were really starting to get engaged with it. Can you share a little bit about that process and how that worked? And what would you suggest to other members or distributors who are interested in a succession plan with their family members?
I would say, there can be sensitive situations and topics, right? Especially if there's multiple family members involved. Um, and with Ben and I, it was just the two of us, so to speak. Obviously, his wife Joey was involved too, and his son Brian. But um, uh, I was the one that was going to purchase the company by myself. There was no other, second generation, if you will. That helps a little bit. But I guess the biggest thing that I would say, speaking as somebody that bought or took over the company, is to absolutely go with your gut on what you feel you need, and what you feel are quote unquote deal breakers. Like it's not worth it to put yourself in a situation where you're uncomfortable, where you're stressed, in a, you know, unusual manner. There's a little bit of stress involved, obviously, but um, I came to that resolution, you know, somewhere in that process where it was just like, hey, these are things that I need to have, and I'm not going to do this well if it's not structured in this manner.
Got
Right?
it.
I'm setting myself up to fail if I can't do it this way. Um, and so, and being clear with Ben uh, was, I think very helpful for him too, and he
Sure.
respected that, right? So, we didn't get emotional. It was one of those situations where, hey, if we can make this work, great. If we can't, no hard feelings on either side, right?
Got it.
So, um, that in talking with other folks, not just in our industry or in our membership, that's sometimes not the way it goes. There's, you know, things that don't get discussed out in the open, and I think that's a big mistake.
Now, did you have any outside resources assisting you, or did you just do that with your Uncle Ben specifically, just the two of you?
No, we got other people involved. Some folks that do M&A specifically in our industry. We ended up not really using what they laid out for us, but we took parts of it. And then we had other folks that had sold their businesses in our industry, got their input. We talked with folks that had bought other companies within our industry, got their input. So we, felt like we had a pretty good idea of, you know, being able to value things properly, but also to structure it in a way that would ensure success and
Very good.
that we both were getting what we needed.
That's
So,
great. That's great. So, if you had one tip that you would share with our membership of those, whether they're going to be wanted to go and acquire a business or actually to sell their business, what would that one tip be that you would be able to share that you think would be very beneficial for them to consider?
well, I haven't sold a business, but if it's somebody that's looking at acquiring, uh, it kind of goes back to what I said before of just being completely honest with yourself about what you need. If I was looking at acquiring another distributor right now, it would be like 80% of my focus would be on the culture.
Okay. That's
So you need to have a really good idea. I knew what I wanted to do at Bruco. I didn't know exactly how to get there. Thank goodness the executive development program and a couple other things I've done really did help me clarify what I needed to do. But I knew I wanted to do it. I knew I wanted a more family, uh, team atmosphere. Um, and if I was buying or looking to acquire, I'd be very, very curious about that prospective company's culture. And can we bridge that? Can we get to where, or are they already there? Right? Will this be a perfect fit? That would where I'd probably spend most of my time. Obviously, the financials are important, but that's math.
sure,
So
sure.
you figure out the math, but the culture would really be where I would focus.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. So let's talk about that. You said the timing was excellent because that was right before you acquired the business, and then you started cohort one of the Triple S Executive Development Program, which was our first one. Why do you think that helped you so much during that process?
Well, there's any number of things, but I mean, really, it was the timing. Like I was in the middle of trying to do a lot of the things we learned about in that executive development program. Uh, and the group that I went through with, they were, I mean, I'm sure all the other cohorts had the same dynamic. They were kind of going through the same things, right? Um, and so really learned from each other, of course, learned from you and Dr. Buchko and the other professors that we had that you guys brought in on, and some of it was, so when we would spend time together, I, and I always do this when I go to any training session or self-development thing. You're taking notes. Sometimes you get a handout or whatever, but I keep a little to-do list, real handy, right? And because the to-do list is things that I can do tomorrow,
Hmm.
right? So, you know, I was able to come back from our meetings or even our Zoom meetings that we did, come out of those with, 3 or 4 things that I can do right now that are going to improve our business. They're going to give our employees a hopefully more sense of ownership or authority to do what they think is best, and just help to improve that team or family culture. And so, like, I mean, timing was perfect. I mean, it was months into me, owning the business. So
So in actuality, then you actually took what you went through the training, because oftentimes you actually took it and actually took action on it. Is that that's what I'm hearing?
not on everything. I don't want to sound like, there's plenty of stuff I still should be doing or need to do, but there's always those little tidbits, and every business is different, right? So one thing that's easy for me to implement might be a nightmare for somebody else, and
Sure.
vice versa. But when I heard something, or I heard an idea, or something was described, or a suggestion given that resonated with me,
Hmm.
and I could see that, hey, this is easy. This is low hanging fruit. I can do this right now. That goes on the to do list, right?
Right. Right.
And so, and then when I get back, I try and get through those things as fast as I can.
Very good. Very good. Well, so as a Triple S member, as a Triple S leader, and a community leader, you know, um, we're here and we're all here to learn together and grow together, and hopefully, of course, help our businesses and your customers' businesses prosper, right? So, Adam, now you've been, on the board for a while, and I'd really kind of like to get your input. How do you see, as a board member, the Triple S board's function to help the Triple S members overall?
Well, I mean, I guess what comes to mind is that we are all members, right? And there's no one member or 5 members that own the majority of the company, because we're limited on how many shares we can each own. And so, the company is always represented, or the membership is always represented well within the board, because it's vastly majority members. I think all but one position. So, and what I love about serving on this particular board is the amount of open, candid conversation we have in our meetings, right? So, sometimes we go down a line of conversation, and everybody in the room feels comfortable objecting, right? Sometimes we'll get one person, one board member say, wait a minute, what about this? Or that doesn't make sense. And so, we keep each other in check as members, not as board members, but as members. And I think that's really valuable. And then we're always challenging each other with, how can we provide value? What tools can we provide, as the organization, as Triple S, to help the members, to help their businesses prosper, to help them succeed, right? And sometimes things work out really well. Sometimes it doesn't get as much traction as we hoped, but we're always looking for the next thing that can be available for the rest of the membership, uh, to help them succeed and continue to excel in their business.
Yeah, that's great, Adam. I actually think over the last few years, I think because the board has had some updates and changes, is that there's been a collaboration level that I haven't seen before that's pretty amazing, and not always just collaborating, but like you said, challenging each other respectfully and candidly, but yet being able to come to a conclusion that will benefit everyone as a whole.
Yeah. Yep. And I enjoy that immensely, because I don't have to look over my shoulder, or like be worried about, hurting somebody's feelings, because we all respect each other. We all know that we're doing our best, and we're being, honest and candid, and that disagreement is welcome and healthy.
Great. But so I want to make sure that everyone knows that if you haven't spoken with your board members are there for you to share your thoughts and ideas and things that you'd like to see if you want to see any improvements with Triple S. So make sure that if you don't know who your board member is, let us know and make sure that you reach out, and they're going to be your conduit and communication to us as Triple S, if not directly. So, or you can of course call us directly too. Um, so Adam, as a Triple S member, I just like to kind of wrap up this last moments with you. Um, as a member yourself, you're there to ensure the success of your business, but also your customers' businesses, your partners' businesses, right? And the health and safety of your community. What would you say to other members on how that you've impacted your community as a Jansan distributor regarding the health and safety of your customers' businesses and their people?
I don't know if we have, accomplished that in the way you worded it, but we do try to, and I would say, bringing awareness, right? So our mission at Bruco, or I shouldn't say our mission, but the folks we serve, right, uh, are the custodian, the housekeeper, and the janitor. That is who we serve. We do have to make sure we're speaking with and working with administration and those in the C-suite and so forth to help the janitor, the housekeeper, or the custodian. But that's who we serve. And so, we try to bring awareness to the community of how important those roles are, right? Um, we from time to time we'll put up billboards. I think our most popular billboard and our most popular social media post is still the one that just says "Thank a janitor today,"
That's
right?
great.
And so, and I was talking with a client just late last week, and uh, it's a grocery store. They're wanting to, improve some of the things that are going on with their floors and bring it in house. It's contracted out. I said, hey, how important are the floors to your business? And the owner of the business knew real quick. I mean, he said they're critical. Floors have to be shiny and clean. And I said, so when you bring this in house and you have to find somebody to take on that role, to take ownership of those floors, we've got to make sure we communicate how important that is to the overall business, right? Shiny
Interesting.
floors sell more groceries. And that person that you asked to do this can't see it as I'm just the guy that cleans the floors, right?
Right.
I'm the guy that helps sell more groceries. I'm the guy that helps make this business thrive. And so I think those are the types of things that sometimes we think past
Hmm.
um, in the Jansan business, and we need to know their business. We need to understand, you know, they're in the business of selling groceries. They're in the business of educating kids. They're in the business of making people healthy or helping people heal in healthcare. Uh, and and you can go on with different industries, but that we have to understand what is it they're trying to do and how do we help them do it. So, um, so I don't know if that helps the community in the way that you maybe just were asked the question, but those are the things we try to do.
Well, actually, I think actually it answers the question, I think, a lot for many of our members who oftentimes we're thinking we're just selling jam sand, right? But in
Right.
reality, we're selling, and our whole purpose is to help our members' businesses prosper. That's actually the same thing that you're doing, is helping your customers' business prosper. So if we can take the mindset of saying, hey, how do I help my customers' businesses prosper? Like you said, help them sell more groceries, then that's going to impact them more than anything.
Right. Yep.
That's great.
That's a true partner.
Yeah. So to wrap this up, would anything else that you just like to share with our Triple S members out there that you feel that's been very helpful or successful for your business and actually as being a Triple S member?
Well, what comes to mind immediately with Triple S is just the group, the camaraderie, My, speed dial is full of Triple S members, mostly, obviously the ones I went through the executive development program with, but others as well. And so being able to just reach out, ask a question or get help, or sometimes just vent. There was a lot of that went on during COVID. I'm sure it was that way with everybody, but that value to me was huge or is huge with you know being a Triple S member. But as far as programs or systems, there's just all kinds of them that we leverage with Triple S, whether it's our iTeam and Envirox stuff that we're doing, which is great. It's all color coded and things like that. Really helps customers. Um, the Bona resilient flooring system, we're having a lot of success with that right now. And that's all Triple S stuff. And just giving us a big boost this year, actually, with that particular program. So, I mean, I could go on and on. There's any number of things, but the people is still by far the most important, the most valuable to me.
That's great. Well, first of all, Adam, thank you so much for your time and energy and appreciate your feedback. I mean, you shared a lot of great information about succession planning. You shared some information about how you working on the board affect Triple S. And I think more importantly, you shared the awareness of making sure that utilizing the Triple S community can actually help your business overall. So we appreciate your time and energy, and thanks for spending some time with me today on the Chow line.
Yeah, it was nice to have you at the cabin.
I know we didn't get up there personally up there, but hopefully we will one of these days.
We'll get it
So
done.
Triple S members, thank you so much for joining us at the Chow line. We'll have more of these coming up, but we look forward to seeing you soon and have a great day and go out there and sell. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.